Hey everyone, hi Stitchy friends. This is Silly Notion Stitcher. I'm Lana. This is my Flosstube on July 9th, 2023. I'm not sure what number this is, but this is going to be all about my stitchcon haul. Finally getting to you after my stitchcon experience. So we're having like a lot of humidity, a lot of rain today, but with the humidity I just couldn't deal with dragging up my various bags of all my goodies to our second floor. It's just not, the cooling just doesn't get up there as well, and I was like, I can't do any more humidity. Yesterday I met up with a friend of mine, former coworker, and so we don't get to see each other as much. We both changed jobs, and I'm trying to adjust some glare here maybe. And so it had been like a good year since we got together and could talk our stitching, and so that was really fun. We went to a favorite place of ours, but lo and behold, they were having their 10th anniversary. So everyone was also there, and so we couldn't really sit inside. We do like to sit outside. I got a pretty good table for us, but the humidity was just crazy. So we were there meeting with each other for a good 5 hours, I think, outside. We did a little bit of eating our ice cream inside, but the awesome part was, I mean, of course, catching up, but I did bring all of my stitchcon stuff that she wanted to see. And so now it was time to show all of you so that I can actually put it all away. It's been in various bags, and I have to say, like, it's so much that it starts to get me overwhelmed every time I look at it, because it's just a lot of good charts, a lot of great fabric, trying to figure out which fabric I want to do with which thing. I have kitted up some things, so I will get to showing you all of that. I apologize for my eyes. The humidity in this time of year, I get like some eye allergies, so it is what it is. And this quilt went along with me to StitchCon on the road. I started this in 2019 at a retreat, and it was a Lori Holt themed retreat. So this quilt is based on Lori Holt's, a combination of her bloom quilt, and I think it's called, I don't know if it's autumn flowers or just flower pots or something. So it is my first and probably only applique quilt, and so I had it all put together so that I could start stitching the binding on the way home from StitchCon, and then I finished it. It is a quilt as you go. I totally did my own thing with this, and I can talk about it a little bit later in this episode, but just had to have it as a little backdrop today in this different stitchy location. So this is going to be mostly about my finishes that I rang the bell for at StitchCon, my haul, things that people gave me. I won an awesome door prize there, totally unexpected, and amazing door prize, and some of the highlights from the freebie table. I won't go into quite all of the StitchCon experience because I know there's so many videos out there now, but I'm going to work from my StitchCon bag. So we got this upon registration. Pam gave me mine from Just Keep Stitching, so that was a thrill, and she did come around to our table one of the days, checked up on what everybody was stitching, so I have some great photo memories of that, and I also got to have my picture taken with Steph and Pam holding my Just Keep Stitching tumbler, so that was lots of fun. So one of the things that we all received was a complimentary copy of this magazine, the month of June. So I thought that was really nice. The editor was on hand to actually do some feedback sessions and get people's ideas and suggestions. So that was very cool that they were doing that. This was my stitchcon start. So I do love the whole Tiny Town series, and I'm so excited that they just keep coming with different themes. I did start this actually the morning, I think our last morning there, and that's my one end with the lighthouse, which has some boo-boos in it, but it is what it is, so we're gonna keep moving along with that. But this was a piece of fabric that I purchased there. Couldn't tell you what it is, except that it's Ada, and I believe it's probably an Atomic Ranch fabric. That was one of the exciting thrills for me, was discovering Atomic Ranch fabrics. I had never really even heard of them, and actually on the first day, because there are some service projects oriented with StitchCon, Atomic Ranch actually used some of their dyes, and they dyed some t-shirts. So they had sort of a modeled, tie-dye look to them, and you could purchase a t-shirt with your own level of donation. So I did purchase one of those. I should be wearing that. I'm not even exactly sure where it is. So let me just go through a few things here. So I had a whole plan, as I said in a prior Flosstube, that I was going to finish my September Country Cottage Needleworks sampler calendar of the month for September. It's a schoolhouse. I had just a little bit to do, but I didn't have the right green to match up with it. It's been a while since I stitched on that, and I had lots of greens, but not the right one. So I really couldn't finish that chart. And I took a few steps there to get the right green, and there were just some funny things that happened along the way. You could actually, if you needed something from the store, you could put in a little paper order form. It would get on the Stitchy bus and go to the shop, and then they would ship it back to you on the Stitchy bus, and you paid for it in the Annex. So it was very, very convenient. There was just a mishap with someone just must have misread a number, and so I got a color that was like brown, and it wasn't even close. So it was all fine, and I had thankfully thought ahead, and I brought, not this one, I brought 2 pillows. They were already stuffed and sewn together, and then I hand stitched the trim while I was at StitchCon, and I went up and rang the bell for these. So this is from Frosted Pumpkin, sort of like made by Michelle McGraw. I patterned my finishes off of hers, of doing these in pieces rather than the long, it's called, I think it's called Halloween Main Street, or Main Street Halloween, or Haunted Main Street, or something like that, and broke apart the charts. So made by Michelle McGraw from probably 2021, a summer episode or an early, like maybe a spring episode, is where she showed some of her Halloween finishes, and you would be able to find them on her Instagram as well. And this is from a Prairie Schooler chart. I think this is from the Button Up chart, and taking little vignettes of that and putting them in these pillows. So I worked on many of these during the last Winter Olympics, and now just getting to finish the pillows. Little sparkly action continued from the front and the back. So I just love these Halloween ones. I'm not a big Halloween fan actually, but when it comes to like cute Halloween and quirky, whimsical, I should say, I can do that. So and I've acquired a few more charts as well. So that was very exciting to ring the bell for those. This was a total delight. I am so thrilled. This was what I received in the Smalls Exchange. And this is terrible. I will find my my person's name. I think her name was Kathy. So people have probably explained the Smalls Exchange, how it's done at StitchCon. There are so many people that participate. They plan on doing 3 sessions, and every session was just filled with people who participated and options. So the tables for the exchange were actually right behind where our table was seated. And I was in the first group, which doesn't really mean anything. It's each group is done on its own, and you have equal chances really of the number that you receive being pulled first or later in the group. So of course, and being seated so close, I had a really good chance at looking at the bags ahead of time and seeing like how people's gift bags were decorated. There were patriotic ones, there were Halloween ones, there were sewing notion ones, you know, different or colors, polka dots, and different things. So I had my eye on a few of them. Well, of course, they were all taken by the time my number was called. In the back, against the wall, there was a white paper bag, like a regular nice white paper bag with a piece of this fabric tucked over the top of it, and a ribbon that looked like this that was nicely pulled through it. I'm like, that's me all over it. I'm getting that one. So I grabbed it and was thrilled to find this bag inside, and I don't think everything was in this bag. I think it was in the white bag, but I'm not quite sure. Very nicely done, quilted bag. And she did such a great job with these. She put floss around these little spools. It was just perfect. She did some beading, which is a little hint of what's to come. The thread fell off of this little guy, but it's totally fine. So it just went on and on. Scissors, some little clips, which I love these. These are great for like little finishing touches. This was the ribbon that of course told me good things were gonna be ahead. Some cute floss tags. And let's see. Oh, thread hoppers. A few people either handed these out or, you know, I saw it here. So there's needles on the back, and a few of us were like, oh, you know, what is that? So it's a way to help you count. I would see this definitely being helpful in a sampler situation, or maybe even confetti to kind of like mark, so you're not constantly recounting, you know, spaces and things. Tomato, another hint of something to come. And oh, a cute little tablet. So now I'm excited. I'm gonna start using these things because now I've shown my friend Jill and I'm showing you. And here is the delightful finish that she gave me. And so it also has that on the back. So what her note says is that it is filled with steel wool. The center has steel wool to keep your needles and pins sharp. So I thought that was a really great idea. I'm going to borrow that for some of my future finishes. There's some beads there. And I later saw her again, and I said, oh my gosh, I didn't like thank you enough for the beading that you did. I said, that's something that I've never done before. And she's like, that was my first time. So it's just very touching that she did that for the smalls exchange. So that was really, really great. Okay, so just a few little extra notions purchases that I made. Okay, so I decided to splurge and get this. I feel like I'm holding it upside down. Okay, but it had some really cute charms with it. And I do believe that this is beeswax from the Keepsakes owners. They do keep bees as well as sakes. And so I purchased that. That's sort of a little bit how the Keepsakes house looks. And there was another stitchcon needle minder in here. Okay. If I find it, I find it. Oh, here it is. Love it. And these were actually made by people. Like I thought that they were just part of merchandise that Keepsakes orders and has done, but I'm noticing that this on the back says my story in 2007. I had an idea to do blah blah blah. So I need to open these and actually take a look at these more. This is made by Mag Friends, it says, accoutrement designs. So I don't know if these are people that are actually in the Keepsakes area. I don't know. So I had really, really great table mates. I was very excited about that. We were all sort of, I feel like, on the same level of energy level. You know, we chit-chatted, but we weren't feeling like we had to constantly chit-chat, and we kind of did our own thing, but when we were together, it all worked and everything. So it was a very enjoyable time. So my friend who drove us there is Kathleen of, oh my gosh, Snickerdoodle Stitch. And she made these Ort containers for all of us, which was so cool. And I was with her at a sewing retreat when she made these, so that was fun. I knew what was coming. And she has her label on the bottom. So people were tickled by that. They thought that was really cool. And one of our other table mates gave us a Zippy Dots needle minder that was like, had a sampler on the front of that. My table mate Anne brought a whole stack of project bags that she made, attached these charms to them. They were really, really cute and so nice of her to do that. But she said, you know, I have a lot of fabric stash and wanted to share that. So I am very, very thankful for that. She actually had a few extras, and I probably should have grabbed an extra one, but oh well, I didn't. So this bag is now dedicated to several of the charts that some were exclusives, I would say, or released there. So number one is Matilda Drives the Stitchy Bus, and this is a chart that is was designed, and money is going to the service project for StitchCon. So you can now order this from Finally a Farm Girl. Very, very cute. And if you go over to Snickerdoodle Stitch Flosstube, you'll see Kathleen finished hers already. She did a similar finish to this with black trim in a pillow. So she's the one who really introduced me to the whole Matilda thing. I was not up on that. So she enabled me with that whole thing, and now I have several Matilda things to work on. So one of the fabrics that I did actually, of the stack of fabric that I purchased there, I did decide that Matilda is going to be done on this Atomic Ranch Freeze. This is a 32 count Lugana. I think that's pretty good. It's, yeah, that's good too. There's definitely like a green hint to it, but it's also got gray and a little, I would say even a little like putty that goes a little pinkish or salmonish. This was a very popular color of the one or two of the keepsakes staff that I talked with. She uses this for a lot of her things, and I do love it. The Ada, I believe, that I was showing for the Seaside Tiny Town, I'm pretty sure that's Freeze, but with the Ada it just dyes darker. But I think that'll be a very good choice. Okay. The other thing, the other patterns that go in my fun project bag is Summer Treats by Sue Hillis Designs. This is so exciting, and I did start this. This was my July 4th start. I definitely turned the corner with StitchCon, and I really started buying a lot of Luganas now. I still have a bunch of Adas, but I am really feeling a lot more comfortable now with the whole Lugana thing. I do stitch in hand, and I intend to keep doing that. So this was my July 4th start. And let's see if you can see the pinks and on this sort of like gray type fabric. So it's just very fun. This is Forbidden, by Forbidden, and it's called Love Potion. So this is on 25 count Lugana. And I was good with that because I think these designs, the models are, I think, on 32 count. No, maybe they are on 14 and 28 count. Chantel has boxes that she created that these fit in perfectly. I think they fit 16 count. So they had them for sale there, and when I say they fit them, there's a whole series of the bicycles. So, you know, I had to start having lots of the bicycles. So I now have this one, I've got that one for spring. So cute. And you might have seen in other people's videos that they had a bike like this on display that we could have our pictures taken at. There was like a little stuffed 310 kitty, the whole basket full of notions, so adorable. So for the StitchCon bike, I picked this fabric. So this is Grace Notes. I guess you pronounce it Rise, R-H-Y-S, and maybe I should know what that is. But I like that it was a fabric that I had some modeling, but it's not going to be overpowering with this chart. But there's definitely some gray, darker gray aspects to that, so I think it'll be a good background. Oh my gosh, and I just love the kitty. So 310 makes sense that they, and let me just tell you, this is 25 count Lugana. So I was very excited to meet 310. I just sort of thought that maybe, and I've always thought of the cat as a male, but it is a she, that she would be one of those complacent kitties that goes with everything, you know, doesn't care about crowds and stuff. But they did have her stay elsewhere because there were a lot of people at Keepsakes when we were walking through the shop, and it's kind of small when you have that many people and tables for all the displays and things lining the walls for all the displays. It's just a lot of people and commotion, so that made sense. So I did get to meet 310 in person. Okay, I will give you one more shot of this. I put the trim on. I did show this before. This is my Corgi Love pattern. So I did take it along. I took too much to have at my retreat stitchy spot, but it was my first one, so why not, you know. But lessons learned. I had way too many bags because I planned projects, and you know, this day I'll do this day I'll do that. I had my, you know, my clothing bag, I had my food bag, way too many bags, and then trying to figure out, I was shifting things around, then I, you know, I would forget inevitably, oh my gosh, and now that item or floss is in the bag that's in the hotel room. So it, not that it was a big deal going back and forth, and I certainly needed to get up and move around, but it just was a lot of extra mental effort being put into stuff that I wanted to focus on, you know, the retreat and the stitching. So, but it was all fine. Okay, so I will go into the patterns that I purchased. Actually, I'm going to change that plan, and I will show you the fabrics first. I will show you fabric, sorry to turn my back on you, but I will show you the fabrics and then the floss that I picked and some of my ideas. Okay, so we are almost half an hour in already, wow. Okay, so this is Atomic Ranch, Palomino, and again, I had never experienced Atomic Ranch. I just love that name, it's really cool to me. And so this is a 28 count Lugana, and so you first look at it and think it looks pretty solid, but it does have some subtle modeling on it, so I do like that. It's kind of hard to show. This has more of a putty, I don't want to say salmon, but it's, yeah, more of a putty color that leans into like a terracotta shade. Gets into that, you know, lighter terracotta type idea. Okay. Then we have, this is another Atomic Ranch, and this is Vapors. This is a 16 count. I was excited to find a lot of 16 counts there. I think that's a good size for me, as well as, like, I do like when things are very dainty and small, but I want to actually like enjoy the design and see, you know, I do a lot of houses and little scenes, so I don't want it too small. So I did get quite a large piece of that, and this is where I now have to sort of start. You know, I like the idea of having a stash, but I do have quite a lot of charts now that I want to not just like, oh good, I have this chart. I do want to definitely plan out, okay, this fabric is for this chart, and sort of start kitting things and planning when I want to start things. There's quite a lot to start, so it's going to take time. I am going to mess this up, so I'm going to wait on that one. Okay, this is another piece of frieze, I believe. This is an 18 count. So it's gray with some levels of green in there. And I would say they're more of a cool green. So I really like it. I think it's very versatile, that you can do lots on it. This is Atomic Ranch Holiday Quaker, it's called, and this is an 18 count. It's not really showing the green. The green is really nice. That's a shame. I feel like it's a little bit because of this light. I see maybe you'll see that I have some Santas I picked out, so they may work on there. I think that was an extra piece of that. Then we have Atomic Ranch. The color says LE, and it says it's from November of 2022. It's a 28 count Lugana. So I don't know if the LE is an abbreviation for something. It's a really cool piece of fabric. It's definitely more like navy with teal. So to me, that's looking like purplish or something. Not quite what I'm seeing in person, but it's a very cool piece. Not exactly sure what's going to go on there yet. Then we have Grace Note Symphony. This is an 18 count Ada. And so the Annex experience, you might have heard in other Flosstubes, was a huge space, you know, conference room type area. And the fabric area was probably about 4 tables, because some of the fabrics were spread out on other tables. So 4 to 5 tables. The Atomic Ranch and Grace Notes in particular were just stacks, piles of fabrics to choose from. So there was so much color option and count options and linens, Luganas, you know, so it was a little overwhelming. And after, especially that first day, people are kind of like really shifting things around and stuff. So we did go back a second time to that area after it had been tidied up a little bit more, and it was a little bit easier to just isolate what you were, you know, what size you were looking for, what type you were looking for. I did feel again like I tended to buy some of the same color arenas, and wished I would have not gotten so many of these that are sort of like grays, because I already have a few grays here in my stash. So this is by Fortnite, and this is partly cloudy. This is an 18 count Ada. So with something like this, depending on what I would wind up using it for, I would maybe add like a tea bag, take an actual wet tea bag and run it over this, let it dry of course, and then have a little bit more dimension to it, so that it's, even though it has color, it can be sometimes I think too light or too stark looking. So but again, it's all depending on what you're going to stitch on it. Actually, I'm going to keep this to the side because I have maybe something for that. This one is called, this is by Fortnite, and this is called Old Fashioned. This is a 16 count Ada. So a really pretty lilac-y type purple. Probably fun for Halloween type stuff. And maybe, of course, I always usually think of Easter stuff first, but sometimes there's been a lot of like pinks and aquas in things, and then your background has to be the right kind of purple if you're gonna go that way. So see how it works out. Purple's my favorite color, so of course you see that in Ada and it's like, oh, well, you know, give me a piece of that, please. So then we have an Atomic Ranch Granny Smith Lugana. This is a 32 count, so this is like, look at me, I'm now how to grab a 32 count. Not exactly sure why I made that decision, but it'll be fine. So it's really cool. It's very vibrant, and it's kind of like, okay, what am I going to do on that? So far right now I have this Rovaris pattern set of bees, and there was a display item where they used a color that wasn't quite this green. It was more of a mustard yellow, but it really looked great with a bee theme, you know, pattern on it. So I think that this Be Happy, yeah, this one for sure is what I'm planning on there. I'm not sure about this. I would maybe have to make the, I forget what the actual word of this is. I just call it a hive, but I would probably have to change the colors a little bit on that. So we'll see. Okay, and then this is linen by Rovaris, and I wasn't going to get this because it is linen, but their display just brought me in. And I mean, look at the lovely, you know, bow and the charm and everything. I saw at the last minute some patriotic things that were done on a color like this, and I was like, that is so cool. It's just very different. They were probably a little bit more on the traditional and prim side, but with navy and white on here, I think that would be cool. But it also would work for Valentine's, definitely certain Christmas stuff. This is not like a red. It actually has a little bit, I think it's more like that. It has a little bit more of a coral look to it. So, okay, so that is kind of the end of my fabric. There's maybe one more piece that is in these charts. So, more charts. So now we're moving into the chart haul. We have another, finally, a farm girl. This is Oscar the cat. Adorable. Now, my kitty, Leo, is a tuxedo cat. So I loved seeing this because I really just have to change out. I'm going to keep his white chest, change the color of his collar so that you can see. Yeah, that is stitched. And then give him, you know, more of a black look. And I picked this vibrant color. Oh, no, that's not for this. That's for this chart. Okay. So then we have Oscar. Oscar is quite the intellectual, and he is in this chart as well. Home is coffee. So look at Oscar there. So I am going to also probably change it to my black kitty. So definitely some changes will have to be made there. But I picked this very brilliant, I could almost name this Granny Apple, actually. can't quite get, it's not really, it's more of a yellow mint green with a little bit of light blue mixed in with it. So this is Grace Notes Ariel, and it is a 28 count. It's marked linen, but it's Lugana. So okay, so that'll be exciting. And I think I'm going to change some of the colors. This has like a lot of olive greens in it, and I'll definitely be changing those. So I love the little mouse with his own little cup. Very adorable. One exciting thing was that we had a designer in our midst. So Susan O'Brien with a T, yes. She had a trunk show there, and I had been seeing this T chart from the Nashville show, and so they had it there. I think this was the very last one, and I got her to sign it. So that was fun. One of my table mates came with me. She got her to sign some of her charts too. I have another one of hers. That I'm sure I'll find in the pile. This was the 2022 stitchcon chart, still available. So I did pick this one up because it has all the various elements of the experience. You have keepsakes, the shop, you have the stitchy bus, you have the cat. And we didn't actually ride the stitchy bus because we were out for breakfast early the morning when Keepsakes was first going to be opening for us, and so they opened at 10, and so we were there before they opened and got one of the few parking spots that they have. But it just worked out for us that way to do that because we had a few stops we were making. And so that was Friday. We went to Keepsakes, started at 10 o'clock. We were probably in that shop about 2 hours, I would say. Just, it is floor. In fact, they have to, when they let people come in the door and it's your first experience there, they actually explain to you the layout of the house. So it is a 2-story, small Cape Cod-ish colonial type house. And pretty much the whole place is dedicated to the customers with stitch models and patterns. So upstairs was like the Christmas and Halloween room. Then there was like an Easter and spring room, patriotic and other special unique events like babies and I forget what other things. Then there was entire floss room upstairs. So all the floss is in one room and needles and notions. And really quite an extensive stock of like classic color works, which is my jam, and big center of DMC in the middle of the room, but then different flosses. So I wanted to experience for the first time classic color works Belsois. So I did get 1 or 2 of those, but more to come on that. So I first saw this chart, Bumble Stitches did it, and I happened to see this as I was coming down the stairs at Keepsakes, so decided to get that. So I had pulled this piece off to the side. So they have, this is interesting. So they have this showing it, you know, sort of on a light aqua illustration, but on the back, of course, it's on a gray linen. So could it be that I will use this fabric for that? We will see. Okay. again, like I said, I love the tiny towns, so I did decide to purchase this one. And they had like all of them finished as drums on display, and a few displayed, you know, the long way. So the seaside town, I think I would not do as a drum. I think I would have that done up for some sort of backboard or whatever. As you can maybe see, my room here is done in sort of a beachy color type room, so that's going to be perfect for this room. And I got a little sucked into the Sue Hillis display area, so purchased this. And of course these large things were on display there. I don't know if they had this full series in that sampler type style, if that was on display. This is sort of like, you know, old time shovel action. So I don't know that I would do the entire thing. I might do this sign, but this is the other part. And I might just do small sections, like focus in on the hot chocolate stuff and focus in on the gingerbread house. I do love that border, peppermint border. So just many options here. Now, you know, my friend Kathleen like talked about, you know, how much back stitching there is with some of these. So we'll see what's necessary. Does this include? So actually, now that I'm looking at this, I really like this burr fence area. But I don't think that's in this particular, it's probably in part 4, and I didn't get that one. So we'll see. This was a free chart that we could pick up at the register. So darling, that was provided by Heart and Hand. I think I want to get on that one pronto so that I can have like a quick finish from StitchCon. Here is my Spring in the Air again. Other ones that, oh my gosh, there's so many that are coming. So there is that one, Bees, a winter. Oh, the sewing one, and I believe that one was there, but the StitchCon one kind of fulfills my desire for the sewing one. I saw this. This is by Salty Stitcher Designs. Per more. And that is truly my kitty, my Leo. I probably won't do all the flowers and things. I really just need the cat and the ball. So that's what I would plan there, I think. Here we have Matilda Sews. Very cute. Another little mouse there. Kathleen Snickerdoodle Stitch has helped me find that there are additional mice or little creatures that are usually with Matilda. In this case, she's got a little teddy bear and she's all ready for her Christmas Eve jammy time. Okay, so wow, I think that's almost the end of my pattern haul. An exciting, very exciting moment was Friday evening. There was a little bit of a program. They gave us a teaser of door prizes and raffles. So Saturday evening there was a time of them choosing raffle winners, and of course the raffles were we could purchase tickets that would raise money towards their service project. So Friday night they wanted to give us a taste of what types of door prizes were coming and what types of raffle prizes were coming. Well, the very first thing, I was kind of like half listening to what was going on, and I was finally in the groove with some of my stitching, and I hear my name called. So it was an incredible door prize. Came in this dough bowl. Of course, it was all, you know, cellophane wrapped and everything. Oh my gosh. So, I totally forget her name now. Oh. One of the women who works at the shop, she handpicked and put this whole thing together. So, it includes this Stacy Nash set of patterns and all the luscious Weeks floss for them. I mean, just some, you know, really incredible colors. So it's definitely a chart that I wouldn't, you know, pick for myself. I like a lot of Stacy Nash things, but seeing the floss, I would probably go for the hearts and the berry, the large berry pin cushion. So this is called To My Friend Pin Keep Stack. So basically the idea is that you would have this stack of pin keeps. So I do like that the berry one has, you know, the scissors there and some little things. So I haven't even opened up the pattern, so I think there's a little bit more of a story with it. What she described in her card inside the prize was that, you know, this represents who we are at Keepsakes, and we welcome our friends, and also we celebrate our kitty. So this is that Cotton Pixel Stitcher's Cat. So this will definitely be a chart that I stitch. And then it even includes that little hoop to do the, I'm sure, 1/1 item there. Or is that? I'm sure it's a stitch thing. I don't think it's a button. And it includes some of the flosses for that, with 310 cards, floss drop cards. Oh my gosh, I'm doing a terrible job. So cute. And my first sulky spool, sulky cotton, and it all came in this dough bowl. So my very first official dough bowl. I have sort of like a faux wood or whatever bowl from it was from a gift, and it's more Christmas themed. It's actually like a mulberry color and it's round. So it's my first official like oval dough bowl. So I mean, that was just, I just was not expecting that at all. It was, yeah, big surprise. All right, so, and pardon my hair as well. I took a quick shower this morning and my whole head got wet. I wasn't really planning on that because I had done that whole routine yesterday. So it's just an at-home Sunday today and hoping to get to major stitchiness soon. Here's some of the floss that I purchased. This is my Belle Soie that I chose, and I chose this lovely watermelon color. And my intention with this, I want to do something in, you know, one color. So I feel like I had something already picked out. What I was missing from the patterns I just showed, I did get JBW Designs. Oh, I know what this is for. I picked up her kitties in the round, bunnies in the round, and then a friend gifted me the stitching in the round. And so she had a trunk show there. I believe I may do the stitching in the round in this color. There is also like a lighter color that you have to do smaller motifs in the lighter color. I mean, you don't have to. So we'll see what I do there. Here's just a few other unique flosses that I picked up. So the Forbidden Fiber Company was one of the featured flosses in the Annex, and I really had never heard of them actually, so I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, let me try some of that. So this is dark roast, and that is a really good, I think, color representation. It's even darker than that, so it definitely can go black, but it does have like a brown hint to it. This one I just really wanted like a variegated option, so it's more like denims. And pink lemonade, and these are all cottons. This one I might do the bunnies in the round with. Really Tealy has been one that's elusive for me, and I really needed it for my calendar series 2 and 3 years ago. So I definitely needed to grab that. Then we get into the silks that I picked up. So this is a Belle Soie Chesapeake type blue, and I again want to do a few more things that are just one color. And I did pick up, I was very fortunate to find 1 or 2 Luminous Fiber Arts charts that were on the freebie table, and they're, you know, the stitchy oriented, you know, birds with the scissors type of thing. So I think I'm probably going to use that blue with one of those. And this is MNMS Studio, and this is called Scarlet, and this is 6-ply silk. So I always think of Scarlet being a bit more red than this. I mean, right here it looks fairly red. This, when I look at it in person, it's, yeah, it's more like that. Got like maybe a little corally rose mulberry tones to it. It is definitely has some variegation in it, so it should be interesting. It's not just a solid silk. All right, so that is that's pretty much all of my haul. I'm just gonna really quickly, we're pretty much at an hour. Wow. Just gonna show you a few things that people gave to me. I had this cupcake tin there, so at my station, that I sort of thought, well, if people leave things for me, they might just, you know, put them in here. It was kind of just a hodgepodge of whatever, so I just put these on here today. But I took around the yo-yos that I made and showed before. So it was yo-yos attached to a lobster claw with some charms and meant to be like a zipper pull on a project bag. And so when you would take them around to some of the tables, some of the people would trade with you. They weren't giving one per person, but they would give you some things. So that's how I got that little cute mug. This needle minder, that one, and this one was given very nicely by 2 Needles Pulling Thread. They, I think, gave one to everybody, so that was very nice. Okay, and I did get to meet them, so that was exciting. I had my picture taken with them. Had my picture taken with, she's called like the evening stitcher or every night stitcher. I can't think of her Flosstube now. I was very happy to meet Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher. She's a fellow Pennsylvanian stitcher. So I sort of like surprised her in the food court and gave her a big hug, because I knew that we kind of probably had the same lengthy travel across the PA Turnpike and into Ohio. So I will name some of the Flosstubers that I did meet. I also was there when Jolly on the Road filmed her very first Flosstube. She decided to do her first Flosstube at stitchcon and use the studio. She did a great job, and I got to talk to her a little bit after that, gave her, you know, just a few little tips about some things, but she's a total natural, and she's got a few videos out there now. One of the videos that I've really loved seeing is that she has a she shed. She has a stitchy shed, and she does sewing in addition to stitching. So I recommend going to check that out, because I just think it's so fun having like a dedicated building to our hobby and craft. Wow, the rain is really coming down, if you can hear that, and you can probably see how the lighting has changed outside. You've probably seen some of these in other people's Flosstubes, so I will just sort of gloss over them. This was one thing of stickers and goodies given to me. This was a cool idea. These are historic Williamsburg photos, printed and given to us for floss drops. This was from Southern Yankee Stitcher, so I definitely want to check her out, because this is totally Pennsylvania Dutch style, you know, painting, cross stitch, whatever this came from, so I do want to check this out. I'm not sure if she did like a reproduction and actually designed that, so I want to check that out. Someone came around and gave us fun library cards for our projects. I do use those. I have some of my own from a kit that I purchased. I thought this was fun. I Stitch a Latte. She gave us a few of those. And that one's so cute, because her name is Holly. So thank you very much, Holly. And since we have a rainy day, I'm hoping to look at a lot more of these folks' Instagrams. So this person gave us like a little baggie of mixed candies and her card. This person hails from Fargo, North Dakota, Carmen. Carmen Delaney. She's Carmen Fit and Stitch on Instagram. I need to check her out, because I'm trying to figure out how do we be cross stitchers and still get some level of exercise. I'm not sure I'm figuring that out. And I really need to. Some nice scissor fobs. This is really nice. Jamie Richardson, Stitching and Wishing. She's Stitching and Wishing Flosstube as well. I think that's a little dinosaur waxer. And someone here designed a chart for us. I'll hold that up. You could actually possibly check it out. And Stitching with Sandy. So she's a floss tuber, stitching with Sandy. And these are adorable. Hawkeye Stitcher. Lovely, lovely. She is from Anamosa, Iowa. And she is the Hawkeye Stitcher. I am kind of assuming she has a floss tube, but I'm not sure. Alright. I made little Ort holders like this for my table mates with two of my yo-yo zipper pulls. And you open it and inside is a piece of flannel. So you can kind of like use it to fold up like your tendrils that are left of, you know, certain colors, and if you don't feel like putting them back on a floss drop or figuring out how to handle that. And this was inspired by Beth of Heartstring Samplery. She has this on her blog, I believe. So I really just looked at the pictures and kind of figured out just doing some circles and sewing them together and finding really super cute buttons. This one is kind of goofy, but it has little beads on it. And I made a whole bunch because I want to use them for myself, and then I have another retreat coming up, and I'm liking this idea for these. So I took time on the way driving there to get the buttons on a bunch of these. So, and this style has cute little crabs inside. So I think I've just completed my StitchCon 2023 haul review. Let's see, I'm just a little over an hour. So I have a few charts I will go over real quick that were highlights from the freebie table. I also wanted to show, here we go, in our StitchCon passport. So that was like our little booklet that we had for the weekend with our itinerary and stuff. This chart was provided to us as a freebie. So very, very nice. And it was designed exclusively for StitchCon. I am assuming that Sue Hillis Designs created this for us. Yes. So on the freebie table, I mean, incredible sharing was happening there, and some really nice finds were there. So I picked up the Patriotic Tiny Town. Excited about that. And this Queen Bee. Citrus Summer, which is I'm pretty sure this is from Fat Quarter Shop, or It's O Emma. I have a relative who is interested in knowing what my cross stitch is all about, and she's like, you know, how do you do it? What is it? So I thought I might kit up this for her. This might be her style. Maybe just the lemon, because I don't know that she would stick with it, and that's pretty dense stitching to get started. This chart, well, this was a whole kit, and part of why I picked this up was just because the scene is just so adorable. Oh my gosh, with his red hair, and he's so interested. The other thing that was really cool about this is that this was from a company that is from Pennsylvania. I don't know that they exist anymore. So part of it was from Hazleton, north of me, and then part of it was from Lancaster, which is fairly close to me. Very excited that this was found. So definitely going to be using one of those flosses to do this one color chart. I might be using that silk that I had just shown that was sort of that, it's called Scarlet. Sort of has that mulberry look too. My table mate, Becky, she was awesome. When she arrived, she couldn't get there like the very first day. I mean, she was there the first day of the actual thing, but she showed us what she was going to put on the freebie chart, or the freebie table. So this was one thing she was going to put on there, and so I was able to snatch this up. Had seen it so many times and sort of been interested, especially in that house, but wasn't ready to say, yeah, I would actually buy it and do it, but I'm happy to take a freebie chart. This I think is adorable. Doesn't look like it would take too much time, and it just reminds me of knowing the long treks across farm country, farm fields that my grandmother and her sisters did as little kids to get to their one-room schoolhouse to go to school. So again, another chance to do a one color chart as a, you know, a different type of project for me. This I had been looking at a few times to purchase, but there it was in the freebie box, so that's exciting. And flamingos. I have been seeing the hands-on design, her various flamingo charts, and so this one I was glad to snatch up. Okay, so that does it for StitchCon haul. So thanks for watching, and I really recommend, if you're really dying to go see what it's all about, you really should go. It's incredible to be in a huge ballroom with people that get the whole thing and support you, really, no matter what you're stitching. There were so many different types of charts and stitching going on, but you know, I felt so comfortable around everyone, so it was a really great experience. Just a few things to say more about my quilt. Again, this was all applique, but done completely on machine. So even the applique, the way that I did it is a lot of machine work, and then stitched on with machine. Some of it I had to hand stitch because it was just easier to do it that way. But a lot of these fabrics are Lori Holt, her bee backgrounds maybe. So I don't know if I can move this in here a little bit more. So like these are little bicycles. These are little inchworms, and it was fun picking these low volume fabrics to coordinate everything. This is definitely one of Lori Holt's fabrics. this is from her line. But then I did definitely mix in other fabrics that I came across in my Lancaster County area, where I'm very spoiled with fabrics that I can find. So again, it was done, I did it a little bit differently than her patterns called for, and I did these large oblong blocks so that I could set them. The rows aren't like where the flower pots are all lined up, they are offset. So it kind of creates a little bit more interest. If you're interested in Lori Holt's applique series, go to her blog. You can look at Bloom, you can look at the flower pots. Chicken salad is with really fun chickens. She does her So Simple shapes. They are plastic flat shapes that she has definite guides and patterns that she recommends, and those shapes come together like, you know, leaves were from this Bloom group. All of the shapes that are here were from those templates, but then you can really mix and match them for other things. You know, you could do applique like just using all of these different hearts, and so her blog goes into a lot of that, as well as her YouTube channel. So I recommend, you know, checking that out if you're interested in that sort of thing. So that is it for me, and I'll be back with another video soon that will be some of my Jolly July plans. Not too much Christmas stitching, but definitely deciding what plans are coming for the rest of the month of July. Okay, well, happy stitching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe and like the video, and I'll be back with more. Thanks.